Welcome to another episode of J Crypto, and we got a party in the house today. So where I do my recording, we have a space that can be leased out as well for people to reserve for parties. So if you hear that noise, just know that they're having a major party right now. It's Sunday. It's the end of the weekend, and there's a huge family party. It's awesome what's going on. Apologize for the noise. If you hear some music, just try to jam out. I'll be speaking loud, and I'm in a room concealed off, so it should be all right. But I wanted to do a live stream today because we kind of are faced with a lot of questions. There's a lot of cool headlines happening, and I'm actually doing some interesting stuff this coming weeks. I'm in negotiations with a few people, and we're going to be kind of disclosing what we have coming up on the J Crypto Show, what you can expect, as well as addressing some things too that are happening in the markets of crypto, DeFi, Nft'S, so on and so forth. So, I mean, a few headlines that we're hearing is, obviously China putting more and more pressure on Bitcoin in various different ways. That's nothing new. What's going to happen with Ethereum gas fees? Will they ever go down? Right? No, I'm just kidding on that front. Obviously, ETH 2.0, obviously a lot of developments have happened with Ethereum, but it does affect the broader NFT, I guess, the front of NFT marketplaces to kind of track some of those bigger projects doing a lot of volume. And right now that's happening on ETH. Cardano just had their summit, and they've announced a huge partnership with Dish. And we all know Dish because whether you've used it or you've been at a friend's house and your friend's house has had Dish, a TV with Dish, it's adding a lot of, in my mind, and in a lot of people's minds too, from what I've heard from the Cardano community, legitimacy and comfort into investing in Cardano and to building on Cardano. Because if they're partnering with a huge company like Dish, that kind of brings in, a lot of, I guess I would feel if I was, somebody looking to invest in Cardano, certainty, because Dish probably has a ton of money to do R&D on regulations or potential issues they could encounter by partnering with the cryptocurrency blockchain. So this is huge for the legitimacy of all cryptocurrency and especially Cardano. What's going to happen with crypto regulations? Speaking of, what the heck are crypto regulations going to look like? We're faced with that question. We're faced with the question of what is the cryptocurrency market going to look like? What's it going to look like in 6 months? What's it going to look like in 3 months? What's it going to look like this month? There's just so much back and forth of white swan events or black swan events. It's a good time, I think, to reflect and think about a lot of these different things. Is the U.S., and I know the U.S. isn't, a lot of people think, yeah, the U.S., we're the only ones that matter here. And it's true that the U.S. does affect general global economics. I mean, it's just a fact. But is the U.S. heading towards deflation or inflation? Because Raoul Pal makes an incredible argument. And you should go check it out. YouTube Raoul Pal on deflation. You'll hear him talk. And what's up, guys? I see 2 comments. I see one in a name in Russian, it looks like. So shout out to you. And then we got Thunder Hammer. Shout out to you, Thunder Hammer. So a strong argument was made by, and I'll get to a lot of questions, and I'll get to you guys at the end of this live stream too, because I want to open it up for an AMA. But let's just get the roadmap real quick for the channel, tell you some cool stuff that we have coming on in next week, the following weeks, and then we'll get to some AMA stuff down the road too. But yeah, deflation, inflation, what's going to happen? Raoul Pal makes a strong argument for why the US dollar is going to strengthen. We hear CBDCs, we hear all sorts of things of how we could go towards deflation, which could definitely just crash our economy. But another thing about it is, I mean, the money hasn't stopped printing. So is this just going to keep going on? And in that case, is more inflation just going to happen? And these are all things that you should really be thinking of, in my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, but if you're into crypto and you're into play to earn games and you're into all these things and you're just playing for fun or trying to make passive income, I know my channel tends to be a passive income channel. So, I mean, what good is it if you're invested in something that's tied to the currency of Bitcoin? And if you don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin, or at least if you're maybe not researching that, maybe you should be, because whatever happens with Bitcoin and the major cryptocurrencies, that's going to greatly affect your play to earn game, most likely. Now, we haven't seen that happen yet because play to earn games are newer. I get that. But it's interesting, right? Because we want to know general, macroeconomics if we're doing any of these play to earn games, or if we're operating on DeFi at all. We just want to understand what the heck's going on. Otherwise, we could be in a load of trouble in the short to near term. So another thing too is what happens if any. I mean, we saw what happened with, I think it was it was a development company, a huge one, Evergrande, Chinese property developer, that pretty much crashed the markets. And what happens if any of the superpowers, the global economic superpowers, of course, have a real estate market crash? I mean, real estate's performed astronomically well, especially here in the States in the last 10 years. So what happens if the markets in real estate crashes, and what could cause that? Um, and again, what will happen if stable coins can be regulated? Because right now you can earn 8 to 12% on stable coins, which is essentially doing better than most of the, I guess, real estate investors out there trying to get, 6 to 12%. So if you're earning 8 to 12% on stable coins, then I mean, that's a pretty darn good deal. So what happens if stable coins are regulated? How will they be regulated? What will that look like? And then what impacts will a CBDC have? All right, so we got a few more. Hey, bro, so we got Vedran. If you're not adaptable, you're going to lose. That's so true, man. Absolutely. And that's what we're talking about here today. So basically, a few things on the channel I just want to get out of the way because it's Sunday, and I figured I'd let you guys know that we're doing some negotiations. We're being transparent, and we're trying to get some people on the channel for some interviews, because it's not going to be much of like a sponsorship type of deal. It's more of like, I'm interested, and I think a lot of people that invest in crypto, or at least in NFTs or Game.Fi, might be interested in it. What does it take for a successful project? Think of an NFT project. So there's all these aspects, right? You got to have a community management kind of team, because you got to be able to communicate to people in your Discord and Telegram. You got to be able to come up with roadmaps. You got to be able to update people when things go wrong. So that's just one piece. And then you have the development side of the actual NFTs, or the actual blockchain side of things. So that's a whole nother piece. So what we're doing right now is we're in talks with a few NFT projects. I'm trying to negotiate them to get on in the next couple of weeks to do a real live interview of what it took to build an NFT project. Okay. That's something that we're just starting to do. So we're going to try to get a few projects on here and talk about it, and potentially some giveaways. So if they come onto the channel, maybe they want to do a giveaway. I'm not going to pressure anybody to do a giveaway. It's just something that some of them have offered while we're just in talks. And they're probably going to do it as like just exposure for their NFTs, which I totally get. But I'm going to be really hitting them with some good questions on like, hey, so when did you come up with the idea to create the NFTs, and how long did it take? And depending on the blockchain that you did it, what was the programming output that you needed? Meaning, like, were you in the programming side? How much programming knowledge did you have? Could any entrepreneur create NFTs and have a successful project? We're going to also run the gamut. So we're going to have some projects that are doing really well on Cardano. I'm not going to name any names because nothing's solid just yet, and I don't want to oust them. And we're going to also have some that aren't doing so well because it's not a sponsorship. It's all just for learning. So that's something to really look forward to, I think, because it's going to give you an inside look on what goes into creating a DeFi project or an NFT project. I want to get a few DeFi projects on. We haven't really started reaching out to any teams like that. So if any teams are listening, like, I'd love to interview a big one like Baby Swap or Ape Swap or Pancake Swap. But the problem with that is I also respect that a lot of these projects are still anonymous, and I think that that's probably for their safety. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to a project and just kind of speculate with them like, hey, what are you worried about for regulations and how is this going to impact you? And the more transparent they are, the easier it would be. But I would be curious from a project that is a little bit unknown and nobody knows who they are per se. I would be curious to hear like, okay, so you're totally an unknown, like all the developers are unknown. You can come on with your V from Vendetta mask or whatever you need. What are you worried about for regulations? Because that's what I would love to hear from DeFi projects currently on Binance Smart Chain, currently on Ethereum, currently on Cardano. I'd love to get an interview like that going. More educational content, more news pertaining to quality projects, macroeconomics, and quality stuff. More in-depth content on DeFi, NFT, and Game.Fi projects that are having more consistent returns, and staying away from what I call scam-fi. So I've noticed a lot of YouTubers trying to cover stuff like first without understanding the tokenomics and intricacies of whatever they're covering. And I've been guilty of that too. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that that's not something that I've done. I've gone on DApp Radar and just posted a video. But what I want to do now that I feel like there's enough projects out there that are getting like, it's not so much of a shot in the dark in DeFi, I feel like, as it was maybe a few months ago. And it still is a shot in the dark. Like, a lot of projects could fail. A lot of projects could run into regulatory issues, things of that nature. But I want to whittle down and really focus on a core group of projects and go in depth on those and spend less time on the newer stuff on my channel, just because I only have 24 hours a day to cover stuff. So I jumping around from new projects to in-depth projects. I'm realizing I'm missing probably some content on the good projects that I know because I'm researching them on my own time. And how I'll find good projects is by researching them on my own time, but then just trying to bring them to you once I've done enough research to say, all right, I think that this is ready for the channel, ready for the community. Because ultimately, I don't want to be bringing you guys stuff that's just so hot, fresh out of the oven. We don't know if it's a scam. We don't know if it's not a scam, but maybe they'll fail and things of that nature. It's just going to probably be better for you ultimately. Another thing, too, that we definitely want to do, let's just see here, is like with cryptocurrency content, right? Like here on the J Crypto Show, we really have two purposes I think people come to watch crypto content. One is to make money, obviously. And then the second one is to prepare to make money, meaning learning about this stuff. So I think that there's a lot of people out there that would be interested, and I've heard it too, because people have been asking me, hey, like, how do I make an NFT project? Like, I'm not thinking right away, but maybe I have a small real estate brokerage, or maybe I'm in insurance, or maybe I'm a small time athlete, right? Playing in like a minor league or something. Then, Nathan, what's up, Nathan? What's your opinion on Alien Baby Club? I know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. That thing exploded, huh? But, and then what'd you say? Long-term hold or flip? I'm not sure yet. I don't think they've released enough info. I really don't, man. I don't think that they've released enough info to really peer in and see. I think a lot of NFT projects on, by the way, if Alien Baby Club sees this, I'd be happy. I'm opening up. I'm not going to be able to interview every single Cardano NFT project, but at the beginning of the video, I did want to let my audience know that we will be trying to get some interviews booked where we just talk to the founders of an NFT project. So if Alien Baby Club's interested in that, you know, I'm just going to throw it out there, float it, you know, we sauce it out there. And I got the email in the about section, or if there's a community member that sees this and is part of the Alien Baby Club, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to really understand what goes into making an NFT project and what goes into making a DeFi project. And that will allow us, if you're an investor in these things, to really have a better grasp of, okay, some NFT projects have been super successful because they've been able to build a community, right? And where do you see that if you're an investor? Like, how do you see that? There's no real metric on CNFT analytics that says, oh, their community is it's it's this active each day, or it has 10,000 members today, and it had 9,000 yesterday, and it's grown by however much percent. So the problem with that is when we look at NFTs on CNFT analytics, it's kind of like there's a soft skill out there that we also need to understand, meaning the community aspect, to evaluate an NFT project. And that's kind of why I want to get a few NFT projects on the channel and interview them and just ask, hey, what goes into it? Like, how have you thought about building the community out? What kind of utility are you thinking to build into these NFTs? And how does that cross your mind? Like, what are you worried that maybe there is a lot of utility coming and a lot of money coming into the space, a lot of really wealthy projects about to just crush it because they can build the community piece by hiring out, but maybe the smaller time projects that are already in the market having some success, maybe it's going to be tougher for them unless they provide a lot of value through utility and have a really interesting community as well. All I know about Baby Alien Club is their NFTs look pretty cool. If you haven't seen them, they do look cool. I'll say that. I like the art. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I like the art. I don't know if it's a long-term hold or a flip. I do not know. I wrote some more notes down here, though, and basically one thing I wanted to talk about was that, like, millionaires have been made in the past in real estate by holding an asset that can appreciate in value while spitting out cash flow from anywhere 10 to 30% annually on average for 10 years, right? They marry these properties for 10, 20 years, most likely 20, put them in a portfolio, and as long as the asset is appreciating while they're making a 10 to 30%, ideally, I mean, that's a great percentage, they're becoming millionaires. And with cryptocurrency, you can look at Bitcoin as an asset, like property. And if you're somebody that believes that Bitcoin's value will continue to appreciate, then putting it onto something like Celsius is an easy way to not have to analyze a bunch of investment deals or study market trends and just let it grow over time. Making money it's in crypto, the simplest ways to do it are usually the best ways to do it. The questions come with what will happen when Celsius is questioned to be regulated. I think I saw a story. Texas was having issues trying to regulate Celsius in some way, shape, or form. And that raises a lot of red flags. The other part of that, too, is a lot of people don't put Bitcoin into Celsius and earn interest. They put stable coins. And then the question is, what's going to happen if stable coins get regulated? And how will they get regulated? And how will that impact Tether? And how will that impact Circle, USDC, and things of that nature? Because right now, that's probably one of the safest ways just to earn a very healthy income. And if the dollar became deflationary, like I was mentioning earlier, Raoul Pal makes a strong argument for why the dollar can grow stronger. Some people think that inflation will just keep happening, which I probably think as well. But Raoul Pal kind of made me question myself. I was like, oh, shoot. It's interesting because what would happen with that? So those are the questions that we would need to ask ourselves. And the other thing, cryptocurrency content isn't just about making money, because if the simplest ways to make money are sometimes the most obvious, then we got a new person here. We got Ski Mask. Hey, bro, how are we making income today? We're making income through our passive income investments. My guy, Ski Mask Citizen, always repping the Ski Mask. Appreciate that. Oh, and then we had one more. We got Thunderhammer too. Have you seen the BNB miner type dApps? Like Yushi? Is that what you mean? Do you know how they work and pay out 3-10% daily? Like, appreciate Ski Master. So for Thunderhammer, what do you mean? Do you mean like if you're still on, I try to answer when you guys say something, but if I'm in the middle of a thought, I know you guys jump off and on. Do you mean like Yushi? Can you give me a project? Because I know for a lot of these mining dApps, one is BNB miner.fi. I don't know, man. I haven't heard of that one, so I'd have to research it. But If it's anything kind of shady, then I think it's probably if you need some sauce. All right. Appreciate that. We always got the sauce. We always like more sauce. Keep the sauce coming. With BNB Miner.finance, I'd have to look and see what they're really doing behind the scenes, like their tokenomics and things of that nature. If it's anything shady, like they're just promising, hey, if you lock up some money for 15, 30 days, we're going to give you like twice it. I don't know, man. I don't like that stuff. I really have to see what it is before kind of co-signing that. But I think what you need to look at, what I need to look at, what anybody needs to look at with any types of mining projects, and I see Ski Mask hit another question. I appreciate that, Ski Mask. I'll get to that in a second. What I like to see for passive income, okay, is much like if I was to buy an investment property, okay, I would like to see if, number one, with an investment property, it's different because you got all these expenses associated with buying the investment property. But can this investment property produce revenue? Okay. And can it produce revenue past whatever my loan is, pay monthly, and all my expenses? So what I relate that to in crypto is I associate that to something like a Yushi, where they're basically mining the Yushi coin. Okay. But can they produce enough revenue through fees, through their marketplace, through partnerships, where they're actually able to offset that output that they're giving to you when you hold a Yushi NFT and you're earning in passive income? Can they make enough revenue through all the other things that they're doing to basically buy Yushi and burn it? Okay. Or instead of continually mining the Yushi coin, can they just take that extra revenue and redistribute that as the mining reward? Because then you have a formula for success. You have continual passive income and you have a strong, healthy economy. Let me get back to Ski Mask here. I'm hitting pretty tough in BNB Miner. I'm making about 1 BNB daily too. I don't know, man. Like, I would have to take a look at what the heck is going on with that, because there's so many scams out there. And I'm not trying to say BNB Miner is a scam. Maybe it's just something I haven't seen yet. But there's a lot of stuff out there I've seen rinse and repeat, works for 30 to 3 months, and boom, all of a sudden crashes, and crashes hard too. So I would just say be careful. I don't know. If you have any others, I'd love to hear about them. But before I get into the next segment, I just wanted to say that the purpose too of cryptocurrency content is for people that want to take this past this year. People that want to take this maybe this year, maybe even the next year, maybe even the next cycle, the bear market, learn about what goes into all this stuff, learn what a decentralized application is, learn what NFTs are, and learn how you can apply it or how it's going to be applied to your respective field or industry, you know? So I think personally, we've all seen it. We've seen Tom Brady make NFTs on DraftKings. We've seen Gary Vaynerchuk, an entrepreneur, create his own set of NFTs. I personally think that NFTs are going to be locally impactful, meaning for athletes, for celebrities, low scale and high scale, influencers, low scale, high scale. I think you could even relate it to restaurants, like your local restaurants. And it's not going to take, too much more regulation for people to start trying. I really believe that. All right, we got a few more comments. Let me see. I understand dApps get cloned every day. Yeah, they do, man. I love your feedback on it. I'd love your feedback on it because I don't understand how it works. Well, that's a big red flag, Thunderhammer. But I appreciate that because whenever I don't understand how something works, I freaking look for feedback too. So I'm right there with you. Oh, if you want to try it, please let me know. They have a referral link. I'm good, man. I'm not trying to, it's all good, bro. I'll just research it. I'll see if it's good. I'll put it out there, but I'm not trying to get caught in any scams, my guy. But I appreciate you chiming in. So the thing is, like, NFTs, blockchain, it's technology. Think of Amazon, okay? They could benefit by learning the internet in 2000, right? They learned the internet, they learned how to utilize it. And similarly, the internet destroyed companies. I mean, think of Sears. Okay. When was the last time you've been to Sears? It looks desolate. Desolate, I tell you. There's very few people in there. Okay. No offense to Sears. I don't even know if it's still around because the Sears locally got shut down and now there's something else. So I don't know. It's just like these retail stores. One company leveraged the internet, which was technology, and took it and pivoted and made something incredible, which is one of the, made one of the wealthiest men in the world, if not the wealthiest, Jeff Bezos. And then the internet, conversely, because this is a transfer of wealth we're talking about with retail stores from going, from consumers going directly through the internet to shop instead of having to drive, go in person, spend an extra hour of their life, which they'll never get back, to go inside a store and get something. Okay. Blockchain is going to do the exact same thing. Okay. It's going to basically squeeze out the middlemen in many different sectors. And you can, depending on what you are, if you're a doctor, even, I mean, I was watching this. I don't know if you guys have seen Money Heist on Netflix, but there was, and I'm not saying that this is how NFTs are going to be used, but there was this scene in Money Heist, and it's probably there's like these robbers of like basically central bank type of thing, the Mint in Spain, I'm pretty sure. And at one point in the movie, they need a doctor. Okay. So like what's preventing private doctors, because a lot of hospitals, at least in America, are private hospitals. What's preventing doctors from having some sort of NFT benefit to their holders, which is like a doctor on demand? I don't know, a few regulations. Like we just got to think of this more practically. This is like not just entrepreneurs who are going to be impacted by this. This is employees having direct access to their lives. And then there's going to be infrastructure to basically link an employee who's used to working for a company to an infrastructure where they sign up, they make their NFTs, and boom. Now they're co-signing their time like an influencer or not an influencer, excuse me, an independent contractor would. So they have more control over their time, and then their clients or people that need them have direct access to them by owning whatever NFT or privileges those NFTs give. Okay. That's kind of what we're starting to see happen a little bit, but I think it's going to happen on a grand scale. And there's only a few infrastructures you really will need to see that and completely dominate. And by the infrastructure, I mean, usually a doctor might have a hospital that they work at for years. They have a boss. They get all the clients because they go through the reception. All that's called an infrastructure. Okay. But eventually we may see, and doctors is an obscure example on purpose. Maybe we'll never see doctors do this, but all we need is the infrastructure to supply the actual clients and the access, and the doctor's the product. And now they're making most of the money by providing their services. And yeah, obviously health might be something that is more, it might take a lot longer when we're talking about health and people's lives to really give doctors that kind of freedom and really that kind of responsibility, since there's so much liabilities that come with that. But I just don't think that people grasp NFTs give you direct access to your time and to your clients, like your audience, the people that need you, okay, your customers. So that's pretty interesting, I think, personally. Yeah, I mean, it's going to get crazy, guys. So I'd love to hear if you guys have any thoughts or any other questions, and feel free to chime in as always. There's a party going on in the next room. These changes in technology are pretty fast approaching. They're imminent for our respective environments. So my YouTube journey is kind of transitioning towards an educational sector, I would say, trying to educate like on what the heck goes into creating an NFT project. Because I want to know. I want to know exactly what the successful NFT projects have had to do. Was it easy? Was it hard? How big were the teams? Like these NFTs that you're investing in, sometimes you don't even know how big the team is. Is it 5 guys who just have access to a computer and they're able to have a coder, a marketer, and a few other things, and they pitch this roadmap, and now they have $1 million to $2 million to $3 million of investment money? I mean, that's pretty darn important. Drunk robots. What do you think of Drunk Robots, Ski Mask? Are you in Drunk Robots? Also, we have Thunderhammer. He says, "Do you know of any BNB NFTs?" Of course, my man. I heard of Baby Bad Arses. Is there a place to look specifically for BNB NFTs? So Binance Smart Chain's ecosystem so far, it's I would say a lot of projects cultivate their NFTs on their actual own projects. So I've seen Baby Swap, which is a decentralized exchange, cultivate their own NFTs, and they have a place where you can stake them, and they sell them on a place called Treasureland, which is an NFT marketplace. But then you have Beearn.fi, and they don't sell their NFTs on any NFT marketplace. You actually have to go to Beearn.fi to get an NFT. But these are very drastically different NFTs as well as approaches to NFTs. I think for NFT marketplaces, there's probably a bunch on the Binance Smart Chain. I think Binance Smart Chain has an NFT marketplace, I'm pretty sure. And I would say like projects like Yushi, you got to buy the NFTs on the Yushi project. You know what I mean? A lot of my channel, actually, I've covered a ton of different projects on Binance Smart Chain that have some NFT cash flowing experience that you can kind of pocket as you play to earn or as you just accumulate time and patience. I think that ApeSwap has NFTs. If I'm correct, they do sell them on a third-party website, or they can auction them on a third-party website as well. Who else has good NFTs in this space? I think ApeSwap right now is the #1 collection for NFTs on Binance Smart Chain. They have the most volume every day, things of that nature. We see a lot of these play-to-earn games having NFTs, right? So I think one that comes to mind is My DeFi Pet. I wouldn't quite say they're free NFTs just yet because the transferability is pretty tough. They don't have a marketplace. They haven't quite gotten there just yet. A few of the projects listed in the Binance Smart Chain Most Valuable Builder Phase 3 come to mind. You got Plants vs. Undead. They have their own marketplace where you can only buy Plant vs. Undead seeds on Plant vs. Undead. You also have Coinery, which is interesting. That's Dragonary, one of the most up-and-coming play-to-earn games actually right now. It's a little bit harder of a cost of entry because you kind of have to grind it out for a bit or spend a lot of money by buying the minimum requirement of dragons that you need to start earning a good passive income by playing every day. But they have their own marketplace on a third, I wouldn't say a third party, it's their own kind of platform called Coinery. I think this is to reduce gas fees, where you have to sign up to Coinery, transfer your tokens to the Coinery platform, and then transfer them in-game. So that's an interesting place. But in the Coinery platform itself, you can buy NFTs. With Binance Smart Chain NFTs, the utility is much more far ahead than places like Cardano right now. And that's just due to the fact that we have smart contracts. So I think as smart contracts roll out on Cardano, we'll start to see the kind of utility that we've seen on Binance Smart Chain, but also utility that we haven't seen on Binance Smart Chain since they're adding different languages and they're going to have such, I think, 200 partners they're announcing, or they have announced in the summit. I got 10 container #1, so I can get the farming unit. I don't know if you know Crypto Ref. Oh, is that like a website, Crypto Reference, or is that the YouTuber? Also a YouTuber. Gotcha. Crypto Ref, I don't know. I might subscribe to him. I watch a bunch of crypto YouTubers, and has a gang in the game, so I joined. Once we had 500 members, we get a rare NFT. Our gang, so Ski Mask, he's shouting out his gang for in Drunken Robots. He's very much into NFTs like you are. I'm trying to learn about them more. Might be a cool networking experience, you know? So I'll tell you what, Ski Mask Citizen, Drunk Robots has been on my radar. It hasn't been something that I've gone deep into myself because there's a ton of stuff out there, but you just piqued my interest. What kind of ROI are you getting? Are you getting passive income every day? I'd love to know, since you already play it. That would be great to hear. And if so, what are the best types of I guess, strategies for newcomers, just in case anybody else is interested in drunk robots. Now would be a good time. Yeah, so Thunderhammer, that's kind of like the long-winded answer. I'd be curious on what your background is with NFTs. Are you into NFTs on different blockchains like Cardano? How did you find my channel? Was it from the Binance Smart Chain dApps, or was it from Cardano? Because what I'm noticing is I got a bunch of people from Cardano now because I've been diving into Cardano, and I have a bunch of people still from Binance Smart Chain. And what we've seen with Binance Smart Chain is phenomenal. I mean, Binary X, right? Binary X, they have the NFTs. You can transfer them. You can sell them on the marketplace. You're earning a really solid passive income. They started with a great economic strategy. The game itself is probably, in the lower scale of games. It's not like a great game yet. It's not like a metaverse RPG yet. I think they aim to make one, but currently it's very simple. It reminds me a little bit of Crypto Blades. What I just think all NFT projects that provide passive income should really concern themselves with is one thing. One trend I've noticed, if there's one project that's listening and developing their in-game economy, every project I've seen that has changed the cost of entry has drastically had a crash. I mean, we saw it with Plants vs. Undead. We saw it with Crypto Blades. When a project gets really hot and they try to make their NFTs cheaper so they can get more users, it just crashes things, man. I mean, I have yet to see a project that has changed their tokenomics and has literally not like crashed. Because think about it. If you buy an NFT for $50, let's say at 5 skill, we'll use Crypto Blades, okay? If you Crypto Blades hurt by Felix Law. They hurt mine too, man. It's all good. If you buy a character for 5 skill, and let's say skill's at $10, and then the next week they make it 0.5 skill, okay? Then they basically just made everyone's NFT. And I'm not a hater of Crypto Blades. I wish them the best. I still have some Crypto Blades stuff, I'm not currently utilizing it because I just don't really want to spend the gas fees, to be honest with you, or the time. I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes down to time for me. I'm doing this stuff to experiment and talk with you guys. A lot of this stuff is fun money for me. And I just generally enjoy the process of finding some gems and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, I hope Crypto Blades can dig themselves out of the hole, because they'll form a blueprint for projects that have decreased the cost of entry and have literally just every investor that bought something for 5 skill. I just think that it completely deflates the value of all those NFTs that were bought and makes them less valuable, personally. But that's just one thought on that. All right. So Thunderhammer says he's still a noob with NFTs. All good, bro. You know what? We're all noobs with NFTs, man. They haven't been around for too long. And the ones that were around 3 years ago, let's say, or like Crypto Strikers, I mean, the amount of utility that was in these things is just, no offense to Crypto Strikers. Obviously they're doing good and stuff like that. But the utility is just so low. And it's just the utility that's about to come into the space is going to blow all of our faces out of the water. And what's going to happen is we're going to see, I was just talking on Twitter with a NFT project, and basically I'm trying to get them on the channel to do an interview. And basically we were just chatting about the market. And I was like, it's interesting because 2 things are really going to happen. Number one, you have NFTs still kind of tracking the value of the general cryptocurrency market. And that's probably going to exist for a bit until it doesn't. And then what you'll see most likely is the separation from NFTs with loads of utility and that have a strong financial backing. The easiest example is a major video gaming company comes in and can hire out the community management piece, so that way everyone's able to interact with the Discords and Telegrams and the essential pieces to having an NFT community work and strive and things of that nature. They're going to have the resources to do that, but they're also going to have the luxury of being a big enough platform to execute properly, loading their NFTs with multiple features and functions and utility. And they're going to be able to do this very easily because they're already going to have the money to provide the privileges that come with these NFTs. So when that happens, you're going to see some of the lesser known NFT projects that don't have the community piece just absolutely fizzle off. And you're probably going to see, you're probably going to see that maybe soon. I don't know. I think the big dogs will take a little bit for them to get in. You know, we think of the internet. We think of old retail companies or real estate firms. What tended to happen is they stayed away from a lot of innovative approaches, and then they got partnered with Zillow, and then they took advantage of online marketing to generate leads and things of that nature. But that hasn't really kicked in for a while. So I think the big dogs will take a bit. We're probably going to see some mid-tier dogs. We're probably going to see some mid-tier athletes, celebrities, things of that nature enter the NFT space relatively soon. And then they're going to be probably adding loads of utility to their NFTs just to shine, because if they're not Tom Brady, or they're not Matt Damon, right, then they're going to need that extra utility piece to add enough value for their NFTs to succeed. And only the mid-tier athletes, celebrities, people with a platform, influencers who can execute properly on the actual community piece and deliver the value will actually see their NFT project successful. By the way, just a reminder, I'm going to hop in the chat in a second here. We do have a huge party happening where I do my stuff. There's a place that we can lease out for parties and things of that nature. So there's a huge family party happening. So if you hear any music, that's why. People are just getting rowdy on Sunday. What can I say? Good vibes always. So let's just hop in here. Rune. Oh, we got Rune. Rune, couple messages retracted here. I don't know what he said. Shout out to Rune. Thunderhammer again. What about Crypto Blades Kingdoms? Are you gonna try it? I'm still in the research phase. I kind of feel with play to earn games right now, what I'm going to be probably changing my strategy too, just because I do think that there's a lot of things to come. I mean, the beginning of this whole video was all about what's going to happen with regulations, what's going to happen in the next 3 months with cryptocurrency markets, what's going to happen in the next 3 months with crypto regulations, what's going to happen with the CBDC, what's going to happen with China's pressure on Bitcoin, and how will that affect the general markets. I think when it comes to some of these play to earn games, what I might take a different approach to is I might be reporting on it if it gets some legs, because that's usually where I'll step in, is where I see, okay, this is getting some legs. I'm going to figure this thing out, and then I'll bring it to the channel. I might not be trying it myself just because I think that there's a lot of great stuff out there about to be launched, and I kind of want to stay on my feet a bit and try out some of the new stuff on Cardano once the smart contracts get released, because I know that there's projects that have been waiting for years to just launch on Cardano, and people don't expect that. And I think that these projects are going to be loaded with utility, and it's not too far out. It's like a month or two out. It's not like when Binance Smart Chain just first appeared, right? Like it was almost kind of like it just first appeared, and it was almost like, wow, where did this come from? Oh, okay, this is a cool thing. Oh, now mad retail investors are coming into this. Oh, we should launch a project on here. That's not what Cardano is. Cardano is like the community in Cardano has been planning and plotting for years now to launch things on Cardano and getting ready, getting the partnerships ready. And they've had the luxury of time to see what DeFi has done on these other ecosystems. And hopefully the ones that will succeed have taken advantage of that time and have seen, okay, these set of tokenomics work, these set don't, things of that nature. So as far as Crypto Blades Kingdoms, I might try it. We'll see. I don't know. I'll let you know if I try it. I hope that it digs them out of where they're currently at. I think that no one knows that answer. I think that only time will tell. I think that until you can gain passive income from doing a play to earn game, will the play to earn game be successful? I don't personally think so. I think it needs to be very consistent. It doesn't need to be crazy high as long as it's consistent, because then it turns into a really cool asset to hold. if you're getting some kind of passive income from a play to earn game and it's consistent, you not only feel safe, but so does everybody else, which is going to keep the game moving forward. So until we see that consistency, I'm not sure. Rune, hi bro, did you check AVAX Twitter? Dude, I did. I followed AVAX Twitter. J Crypto is following AVAX Twitter. It's I think last time Rune or the subscriber was talking about how AVAX has a pretty big community, and they do. They have a lot of cool stuff. I just don't know how much of that mainstream adoption they're going to take this year from cryptocurrencies, decentralized applications. So I'm watching it. Rune. But you were right, man. They do have a huge, huge community, and they are pretty darn active in forming some interesting partnerships too, I've noticed. I have an AMA for you that did it on the 22nd. I'll candy send you that link from the Twitch stream. It's interesting. All right, man. Is that on oh, that must be on Drunken Robots, right? Interesting. I mine AVAX. That's a long-term play. Yeah, I think, what's in your opinion, all the AVAX people that like AVAX, so Ski Mask Citizen or Rune, what do you think is the main differentiator from AVAX and something like Cardano, or even something like Binance Smart Chain? How is AVAX better than those two in like a one sentence? Wow, that was insane reading back. Yes, on Drunk Robots Law. Sorry. Oh yeah, that message I was reading. Yeah, man, it's all good. Like, you should see me type. Sometimes I send emails and I'm just doing so much, and I realize a day after that the email just isn't in English. It's in some other language that I don't even speak. But yeah, no, I think for anybody educated on AVAX, what I'd like to know is if you can tell me what is one sentence of why AVAX is a better blockchain, or what their differentiator that they're offering is between that and something like Cardano or something like Binance Smart Chain. What I do know about Solana, Mina, and Cardano is I can clearly say in one sentence what they're doing differently. For Mina, they're the smallest blockchain ever to exist. Okay. For Solana, they have proof of history, which is the first blockchain to do that. And then for Cardano, they're the first blockchain that I know of that is offering every single coding language available, which is going to bring in so much developers. Okay. There's also the community piece, and then there's the CEO piece for Cardano. So, I mean, what I would like to know is what's that one sentence of what AVAX is doing than these other blockchains? That would be really interesting to hear, because if you can answer that, then everyone should be just more interested whenever there's something directly new. So yeah, I mean, I'll stick around for the AMA for probably another, 10 minutes. I got all my thoughts out pretty much. We're going to be doing a lot of different content. I'm trying to get a few interviews, like I mentioned, with a couple NFT projects. I just want to walk through their process, understand, okay, what was the workload? How much did you have to know about blockchain coding? My assumption is with platforms like Cardano, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but they're going to have these Plutus engineers that you can just hire. And basically, if you hire a Plutus engineer when the smart contracts are out, then a lot of the programming legwork will be done for you. So if you're a team of 30 or 40 entrepreneurs, or an entrepreneur with a team of 30 or 40 and some large investment, I mean, you already have the firepower you need to get something really going, which is where all that innovation is really going to come from. And I think Cardano also addresses the anonymous. I'm still researching this, but in one of my videos recently, I addressed Mark Cuban's speculation on how regulation is going to happen with proof of authorship. So if you don't know what this is, it's important if you're invested in DeFi or gaming or any of these things. Like, this is one thing that I think YouTubers should be talking about a little bit more, is like, what is the regulation impact? I got another message from Ski Mask Citizen. I will look at that in 1 second. What's the regulation impact on all these things? Like, how safe are your investments, right? Because regulation is a pretty big deal. And one of the things that Mark Cuban thinks will happen is something called proof of authorship, okay? So I did a response video. He never got back to me. It's all good. I understand he's probably way busier than he is not busy enough to answer what I'm saying. But basically, he said proof of authorship is probably how they're going to be regulating smart contracts and decentralized applications, things of that nature, which basically means that as a developer or as a project owner, you're going to have to denounce who you are. So if I'm J Crypto and I'm behind the project of whatever it is, I'm going to have to say, hey, I'm J Crypto. And this is, I'm going to give them all my information. It's so that way they can, if the project gets scammed or rug pulled, then the SEC and the actual users of the project can hold somebody accountable for the project. Right now on DeFi, we have a lot of anonymous projects because they're, not huge teams. They're not from the US. They're probably from various countries. They're probably from the US. They're probably from, all over America or all over Europe or all over Asia. And the smaller teams, when they build a great project, they don't want to tell everybody who they are, since if they tell everybody who they are, they could have a huge target on their back, and maybe they are in control through smart contracts of billions of dollars. So it's a huge issue, but I think Cardano is trying to solve this to make it so that way there is going to be a direct link from the regulatory standpoint, so the people in charge, the officials, the SEC, to the project owners without having to go public on who the project owners are. And I forget what this is called, but this is another reason why I think Cardano could be the perfect place to play for any small business, any aspiring entrepreneur, anything of that nature. So Ski Mask Citizen said, that's a good question. I usually research, then forget after I make as conscious decision. Lol. I'll look into it again. There EWAS, something that stood out to me and I forget it. Okay. Thunderhammer still on. Thunderhammer, thanks so much, man, or woman. I don't, probably man. Thunderhammer sounds very masculine, strong name to have as a YouTube. With NFTs, you have ownership. How far does that ownership go? I know, man. That's a great question. Can I take my NFT, print it on a T-shirt, and sell it without needing additional permissions? All right, that's pretty nuanced, so it's gonna be hard to answer that, but. For example, sports-related NFTs, there are. Let me try to dance around that and give you as much information as I've been able to gather on that. So with NFTs, you have ownership. How far does that ownership go? It depends on the project, depends on the tokenomics. I've seen projects that allow you to transfer NFTs from wallet to wallet, and I've seen projects that don't allow you to do that. I think that the projects that don't allow you to do that could run into some regulatory risk if NFTs are classified as property. The reason why is because property needs to be able to be transferred, sold, destroyed, lent out, all these different functions. So if there's an NFT that is classified as an NFT where you're only able to hold it and redeem it onto a platform, then you don't really have full ownership rights of that. So that's one. Let's just draw all those projects out. The next part of that question, can I take my NFT printed on a T-shirt and sell it without needing additional permissions? I would say that might depend on the project as well. I mean, the problem comes in when you have an NFT from a decentralized application that is, already at risk of disobeying copyright regulation. So, for example, I've seen this project it's like a Pokemon fan started project, and they're making all these Pokemon NFTs, right? I did a video on it once. And if you took an NFT that you own and it looks like Pikachu and you print it on a T-shirt, then yeah, depending on your country and depending on how big your marketing gets, eventually they're probably going to be knocking at your door saying, hey, listen, man, you can't be using Pikachu, or listen, Thunderhammer, you can't be using Pikachu. That's our Pikachu. We have the IP for that. Smaller T-shirt companies already infringe on this all the time, so T-shirts are hard to say. But let me read your next thing. For example, sports-related NFTs, there are. So I don't know what you mean by that exactly. Sports-related NFTs. Let me get to Ski Mask Citizen real quick. Wait, so you said that circumstances should you hire a dev from Plutus? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Did you see that new Flare Network sports NFT game, Kinds of Strategy? Also not related, as Flare is only on Songbird beta right now. AVAX, and then Rune, real quick on the AVAX, and then I'll get back to Thunderhammer and Ski Mask. Thunderhammer, if you could clarify what you meant by, for example, sports-related NFTs there are, I'd appreciate it. AVAX devs, they work hard, just like ADA dev, nothing more. If we comparison ADA versus ETH versus AVAX versus DOT KSM, then for sure, new boss is DOT and KSM, and I'm sure about that. I can't explain why. Yeah, so my opinion is this. I think ultimately we're going to enter into a place where we have many different blockchains and we're going to have metaverses and all these different things. So ultimately, when it comes to that, then it just becomes a game of where do they go to first, okay? So if you're going to a dApp on Cardano, but that Cardano is multi-chain, but you're using it on the Cardano blockchain, then ultimately Cardano is gaining the market share. So it's going to come down to how well is the community organized, and that comes from the top down. And then it's going to come down to the ultimately the community that's using it, because that shows the market's the market. If the community is big and the community likes it, the community is growing, then that's more consumers, more users, more developers, which then increases the network effect. It'll also come down to the, sorry guys, there's a party going on, so people are getting pretty rowdy out there, and it's because people lease out space. The other factor too with the blockchain question or that statement, Rune, is probably just the capabilities of the actual blockchain. So what I like about Cardano is it's cheap, it's effective, it's scalable. Maybe AVAX is too. Also, Cardano has a lot of programs in place for new developers, and that makes it easier for more innovation, and you don't need to have so much development experience to be an entrepreneur and create a successful project, because they have all the ecosystem established where they have all the pieces to the pie. And as long as you're one of them, you can actually contribute. And if AVAX is the same thing, then that's great for them. And who's to say that there can't be multiple blockchains that take the lion's share? Let me get back to let me just read some of these comments real quick. DOT and KSM, now you're getting into a lot of multi-chain stuff, which is, way past where I like to participate. I like to participate where there's, just the network effect level of it, because I'm pretty consumer centric. But ultimately, those are good points too. You read it wrong, Wall. Okay, I'll read it again, Ski Mask. And then Thunderhammer was curious if I bought an NFT of a sports player, what could I do with it? Or can I basically only resell it? All right, I got to answer this, man. This is a great question. I love this question. Let's say you're a MLS soccer player. Let's say the MLS doesn't say that you can't make NFTs. Then you make an NFT set where basically you're doing things like playing FIFA with the people that own your NFTs once a week, once a month, once a year. Okay. You're giving the NFT real life utility. Okay. And you basically, as the investor, what you need to know when you buy an MLS soccer player NFT that gives you 1 hour of FIFA time to play a game with them in real life and talk to them because you're a fan of them, then what you need to know as an investor is that ultimately it comes down to how much you can trust that person. And then ultimately, since we're not there yet, because I have a lot of lawyer friends and we talk blockchain regulation all the time, because I'm picking their brains and they can't get enough of me. But they can get enough of me. That's the point, because I'm always trying to say, hey, what about this? One thing is what's called breach of contract. So if somebody buys an NFT, right, and basically the agreement on the smart contract isn't upheld, then that MLS player is in breach of contract. So then, therefore, a lawsuit could take place based on current property regulations. Or contract regulations, I guess, in that case, from my understanding of it. So it's an interesting Ski Mask. Let me see what you said here. So you said, wait. So you said what what circumstances should you hire a dev from Plutus? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now, man. I did read that wrong. Well, if you want to start an NFT project and you do all the art, okay, let's say you want to start an NFT project for that MLS soccer player, and you create with the MLS soccer player all the utility, all the art, but you want to put it on the blockchain. Maybe you're going to need somebody to install all the metadata on each of those NFTs. So maybe a Plutus engineer would be a great fit for someone like that who's trying to create an NFT project. If you're making a decentralized application and you're an entrepreneur and you've studied blockchain for the past 3 years and you have a good team of marketers and operations and all the things that you need for whatever project you're trying to create, but you don't have the development piece, I mean, maybe you could hire a Plutus engineer. I don't know. I've talked to a few NFT projects on Twitter so far and through email so far and just various places and Discords. And I always like to ask, like, what was your place in making an NFT? Were you completely independent, especially on Cardano is what I'm thinking of? Or did you work with Cardano? How did you do it? And some of them say they're independent. Some of them say that they hire a Plutus engineer. So it all comes down to just different approaches. And then we had another thing from Schemaz here. Did you see that new Flare Network sports NFT game, Kinds of Strategy? Also not related, as Flare is only on Songbird beta right now. I haven't seen it yet. But I think I've heard of that. Definitely on Flare Network. So that's an interesting thought. Flare Network. Flare Network, is that related to XRP? Is that what you're saying? Flare Network, the Flare Network that's related to XRP? I'd be curious to hear that. And then we got a response from Rune. I have to go to sleep, bro. Please don't delete the live. I will watch it when I wake up now. It's 00.3 in EU. Oh yeah, because I won't say where you're from. I don't want to, I think if it's all right though, I don't know. I don't want to do that to anybody that wants to stay completely anonymous. So it's all good. Have a great week, boss. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know. I got to boogie in probably another. I don't know. I might stay on as long as people are asking me questions. That's perfect. I'm glad I got a big XRP guy on here. And let's see here. Sweet bro, thanks for this information. So Rune, that's awesome, man. I won't delete it, bro. 100%. I appreciate you hopping on. Ski Mask. So you're a big XRP guy. It's interesting because so Flare Network is going to be a blockchain that incorporates XRP, where there's going to be, or there already is, I guess, decentralized applications and dApps and ecosystems built on top of Flare. And how interlocked is XRP to Flare? Are they like the same exact underlying company with Ripple, or is it a partnership? Because I don't know too much about XRP. I like XRP. I've always held it. I didn't really buy into a lot of the FUD on XRP because I always thought that XRP's goal was to work with the banks. And I thought that was a masterful plan, since the banks have outdated technology and need some kind of infrastructure to compete in this blockchain environment. Obviously, people aren't a fan of the banks, so I think that's why XRP got a lot of hate back in the day during their, I guess, rise to whatever they just went. Their recent upswing. Okay, so I'm reading this text. So I'm right on all that. So that's correct. So Flare, okay, that's interesting. So I'll have to check out Flare, man. Have you been using dApps on Flare, and is it powered by the XRP token? That would be my question to you, if you can answer that, because that's interesting. I might have to really. Oh no, Flare Network is Flare Network, as XRP is XRP, and not Ripple devs from Ripple created XRP. So that's a lot of people's misunderstanding. No, Flare isn't out yet. So was this just an announcement of a game, Kinds of Strategy, that wasn't released on Flare Network? Oh, I see what you're saying. So is there any beta you're on the Flare Network though? You can play the beta version of this game, and then okay, you can't. So we have Thunder Hammer. I have a prepaid Visa connected to a crypto exchange coming. When I use it to buy something, do you know how that will reflect on taxes? You have a prepaid Visa connected to a crypto exchange, so I'm guessing that just means what, like a debit card? And when I use it to buy something, do you know if and how that will reflect on taxes? So if you're coming from, so first of all, I'm not an accountant, but If I may ask, are you saying from a NFT and GameFi perspective, or are you saying because you're going to need like some like crypto tax kind of company to jump in probably there because your accountant is going to get lost, and I think that's going to be a huge issue actually this year. By the way, I think accountants are going to face one of the greatest accounting crises that we've ever seen, just due to a lot of different things, not just crypto related, but crypto definitely. And it's going to be very difficult. And a lot of people are going to defer to report their taxes for, I think, a certain amount of time because their accountants just aren't ready to report them. They aren't able to do the work. And there are cryptocurrency tax companies out there. I think cryptotax.com is the most common. But if you're just buying crypto from an exchange, then it should just be like an ACH deposit. And then you just report it to your accountant at the end of the year that you bought crypto, and you show them how much the crypto is worth, if you made any sells. An interesting thought is obviously how crypto currency is treated as property in some cases, not securities, like with Bitcoin, for example. So if you can sell at a loss, you can do that multiple times pretty quickly, and it's not like you need to wait 30 days like stocks, I believe. So then Ski Mask says you can't mint Flare assets. F assets, is that Flare assets? And then he says Songbird is beta Flare, so Songbird came out and is running. They airdropped SGBK tokens. Also, people are staking them, but you can mint FXRP and other F assets and Spark token. Okay. But Flare, as I've seen, it is brutal figure 8 of profit. Brutal figure 8 of profit. Interesting. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to like do an analysis on Flare and the underlying intricacies of how it relates to XRP to talk on your level, mate. But do you see Flare as like a competitive blockchain with like things like Cardano and BSC? That would be my question. Hi, BNX question. Oh, Binary X. Would you go for like 8 part-time jobs or 1 full-time? Sometimes there are cheap level 2 full on market. Let's assume a decent one for around 4 BNX, maybe even less on a lucky day. I would, bro. I mean, what did we got? ST, is that Steve? Is that what that stands for? ST3V3. That's clever. I would just say, mate, I'd pull out the calculator on each of those examples and just really dive deep into what the ROI is. But the problem with that is Binary X, from my standpoint, I just found out that if you have a character with higher stats, because my subscribers and I were just chatting in my chat on my last video I did on Binary X. If you have a character with higher stats, if you have 2 characters that are both, they can do an occupation, they're not part-time workers, and they have higher stats, high enough stats to do an occupation, and then one of them has a higher stat like you just mentioned, then you got, more passive income for the one that has higher stats on the occupation, which nuances it like crazy, because then you really need to look at all the stats in the marketplace. And how do you know how much gold that you're making? So it's a tough question at its core, because it's a would you do this or that? And the answer is I don't know, because it'd be tough to decide. But let me just try to answer from an 8 part-timer versus 1 full-time. I would say with the 8 part-time, what I don't like about the 8 part-time, if the passive income is similar, is all the gas fees, because there's not like a claim all button, I've noticed, unless there is and they've just made it or it just wasn't apparent to me. So you're continually having to claim each NFT's passive income. And if you don't claim it, then you're basically like the amount of gold it produces after I think 3 or 4 days goes down. So you're kind of locked to claim all that gas fee. I would say go for the 1 full timer if they can make a lot of passive income, because then you're only claiming it once, and that's kind of nice. Back to Ski Mask. Yes, it is like 9 ways to profit that feed the next means of profit. Well, I'll send you a video, lol. Okay, I appreciate that, man. My email's in the about me or whatever you want to do. Absolutely, even more so. Greater than Cardano. Yeah, so a big XRP guy, I can appreciate that. So you think it's even bigger of a deal than Cardano? Dang, that's crazy. Okay, I'll definitely have to check it out, man, because that's a bold statement. From what standpoint is it competitive or superior than Cardano in your opinion? From the ability to build a community, I'm just trying to lay out some of the different things. Build a community, from the ability to create really engaging, compelling smart contracts, or just from the ability to, from a business side, because I know a lot of blockchains are focused on smaller development side, whereas like eventually we're going to need infrastructure for businesses to tokenize NFTs for the ability to gain revenue share or to have special privileges, like the coffee shop example I use all the time, which is get a free coffee every day if you invest in the NFT. So I'd be curious to hear what standpoints you think really, like, why would the community piece be better than Cardano, or why would the development piece be better? Things of that nature. I'd love to hear about. And if they're going for a different audience, because I know XRP is going for banks, and I know that you said that XRP and Flare aren't, the exact same thing. So I just would be curious to hear if you think they're a competitive blockchain because they're going for a whole different sector, which I could definitely, intuitize with intuition. So then we got Steve. He says, "Thanks, bro. Anytime, bro. It's a tough question, man. I ask myself that question every day. The one thing about BNX too, I would also like to add is, like, we are seeing the beginning of the BNX economy. Okay. I just read their white paper yesterday on a YouTube video. And while reading it, I was even thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? This economy, it's starting, it's going. We're going to have to play it out, though, to see if it's going to be successful or not over the coming few days, months, even. So it's still, in my mind, a bit of a gamble, though I do like and appreciate the way that they've been able to present the economy piece first, because with a lot of these play to earn games, it seems like they're focusing too much on the game and the marketing. And usually the game sucks. And the marketing is just all like shilling and craziness. What BNX has done is they've created an actual product. So that's one criteria checked off. Definitely a good thing by BNX. Binary X. Shout out Binary X. What I would say, though, about Binary X, by the way, I thought that part-time is always the same earning, no matter which stats. Yeah, with part-time, yeah, I think you're right on that, on part-time. But I just meant for level 2 occupations. You get those gold stats increase, I think, like you mentioned, pretty much. But it's hard to gauge how much those stats affect the gold. Am I right? Like, I don't see a clear way of saying that, okay, this thief with like 92 stats or 92 main stat and 86 sub stat, we can call it, gains 3,000 gold a day at level 3. And then the thief with 96 main stat and 94 sub stat gains 4,000 gold a day. I just don't see any metric like that, because the gold production is like an APR, which is constantly variable, like a variable interest rate. So it's fluctuating already. So there's not really an algorithmic little calculator that we can put in, unfortunately. But I agree with you. It's a good question. Definitely competitive. XRP will be working with Swift, which I've heard. So it's Bankcoin with DeFi elements to me. Wow. Yeah, it is Bankcoin, and you gotta, I mean, hey, look, the banks have done pretty well so far. I mean, they've been killing it. You ask the tough questions. I'll check. Well, I ask the tough questions because I like to know what I'm talking about. And if I don't know what I'm talking about, then I like to find out. And that's why I need to ask questions, because, like, it's just what we all should do. You ask a tough question. I'll check for your email so I can get for some info, bro. Appreciate that, Ski Mask. I thought they were replacing Swift, but it will work alongside of Swift, and we have 300 plus partnerships. Yeah, I think XRP is going to surprise a lot of people. I just get the intuition that it's either going to really, really work or it's going to be a player in the space. And by that, I mean, it's going to have an just a very underrated, doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes with huge institutions right now. And once people realize it, do you know how many people were talking about Cardano in December? Like, not a lot. And Cardano reminds me a little bit of XRP's current status in the market. Not completely, but what I mean is when you go back to December or even November of last year and you talked about Ethereum, that was everything people were talking about pretty much on the crypto sphere, right? And still, there was probably about 10% of the people in crypto that there are now. So now Cardano is talked about all the time. And XRP is talked about a lot, but not from the same standpoint of engaging in chats like this one, where we're talking about play to earn game and passive income and things of that nature. But all XRP needs to do that is enough development, or excuse me, all Flare network could need as well from the blockchain side of things, is enough development, enough news shaking to really create enough of the awareness that this is a legit thing. Flare network is the blockchain that's building something really incredible, and XRP has been building partnerships with all these different institutions, financial institutions, and they've been really doing it. And it hasn't just been hearsay. Like, they've actually been doing it. For people to say, wow, why wouldn't I invest in that? Like, that would be crazy not to invest. We have been accumulating banking institutions through this lawsuit. I know, man, that's crazy. It's like this entire lawsuit has just given them more time to basically for more time for people to accumulate XRP. Basically a free space on the bingo, in my opinion, all. Yeah, I hear you, man. So that's not where I thought the chat would go, but I appreciate everybody for chiming in. I'm probably going to take off. This party's dying down. You know, I thought I'd come here while the party was going. It's not my party. And exactly, well, yeah, a ton of time for people to accumulate, right? But for the people that can really see that that's what's kind of happening, to accumulate. I like people who trust their intuition. Going to keep an eye on your crypto prophecies. Haha, have a good one, bro. Steve, man, I appreciate you. The intuition, it's super important. You got these TA guys. No disrespect to TA guys. I know they're making some money, but they're drawing these backward shaped triangles, trying to predict the price of things for 10 years. Sometimes they're like, well, not 10 years. That's ridiculous for me to say, but in 6 months, it's going to go up by 22% because of this backward triangle. And I just laugh. I'm like, what are the fundamentals? Who's the CEO? Like, we need these other things to make a sound decision of what's happening. And we've seen TA do, you know, exceptional things, but we've also seen black swan events and things that we could tell are coming. Like I'm telling you guys right now, which is crypto regulations, stablecoin regulations. These things are going to impact the market. Also companies too. Like, there's not all black swan bad things coming. There's Dish Network partnered with Cardano. Like, there's things that are big happening behind the scenes that are going to legitimize the space. Thunderhammer, thanks for the stream. I appreciate you, Thunderhammer. I like your name. See you later, bro. Thanks for some education. Check your email in an hour or two. No rush, Ski Mask. I'm on my email pretty much every morning, so eventually I'll check it. And even if I check it, sometimes I don't get back until like a few days, but it's all good, man. Email away. Yeah, so that's it. That's J Crypto. The goal is to get 10,000 subscribers by October. I got literally like 4 days to do it. That's the goal, so I'm aiming for that. We'll see if we can do it. I think we can do it. And as always, that's J Crypto. For everyone that hopped in the stream, thanks. It was fun engaging with you. If you didn't drop a comment and you engaged here, I appreciate you jumping on the stream. And if you are basically watching this post stream, feel free to comment too. And hop in, ask any questions. Sometimes I don't even get to them. I always try to like and read what people say. I think I always read the comments. It's just sometimes people also will chime in with you, though, and answer your question because we have such a smart community. There's people that are way smarter than me that subscribe to my channel just because they want that extra news piece. And they're always looking out to help the newbies. Also, beware of scammers. I've seen some J Crypto impersonators. I will never DM you asking to subscribe to my newsletter or something like that. I just don't even have a newsletter, and I wouldn't do that anyways because I feel like that would be, I would risk something from doing that. So just know that I'm never going to be asking for crypto. I do have a giveaway planned. I guess it's in negotiations, but I'm thinking the next couple weeks of a NFT project. I'm probably not going to take anything from it. They might give me an NFT, but I'm going to try to interview them and get an idea of NFTs. So that's the only thing. But that's pretty much it. So that's J Crypto. As always, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. I'm out.